Hello and welcome to my channel. It's Reuben here with some of the worst sketches you're ever going to see from me. Well, I hope you enjoy them nonetheless. It's a beautiful winter's day here in Galway. I can hear crows flying across the sky in the background and it's just sunny and nice and calm. And today I'm going to show you my sketchbook that I filled in from September and October of this year. And to be honest, there are a few paintings and a few sketches that I am not proud of. And on the one hand, I'm like, can't show those because they're so awful. On the other hand, I think it's nice for people to know that even people who do it all the time and have, tons and tons of experience and years behind them as a sketcher still make really awful work. So I hope you enjoy it, and with any luck, Reuben might make an appearance. As soon as he senses there's a microphone not too far away, he runs away. Tripods really sent him running. So hopefully I'll grab him and see if I can get him to say a nice friendly hello as well. Hope you enjoy it. So here we go, September to October 2025. Let's have a look. Okay, the first drawing was done in Geneva during a tour of the Caran d'Ache factory that myself and my colleagues were treated to when we went to Geneva in September for the 7th Swiss Urban Sketching Symposium. And I suppose I'm supposed to be able to draw people on the go, but it didn't work very well. And that's what happened. But I'll tell you what though, walking around that factory and watching how colour pencils are made and all those other cute things that some people like to draw with, I don't, but anyway, others do. It was fascinating, absolutely fascinating, and I really, really enjoyed that aspect of it. This one was a little bit of a comfort sketch, I suppose. Later on that evening, we all had Aperol spritzes and they were very lovely. And they looked so cute in their orange and yellow colours. Now, there's a bit of a thing where the sketchers will all draw like crazy when they're together. And sometimes I find that a little bit, kind of like you're on stage. But sure, look, you just have to jump in and do it anyway. And in the end, I wasn't too sorry. And sure, look, I had an Aperol spritz, so can't be bad. Now, on my way home a few days later, the plane was delayed from Geneva to Dublin by 2 hours. So I was sitting there on that roasting hot plane because there was something wrong with the air conditioning as well. It was baking sun outside. And I drew what I could see out of the window onto the apron. Now, that funny little drawing that you can see on the right-hand side, that's actually a fondue that I was enjoying a few days earlier. But I'd had to abandon it because, ran out of time. So I couldn't scribble over the whole thing. Here are some other passengers waiting for the plane, and I did not hear them say what you can see in their speech bubbles, but I pretended they were complaining about the flight nonetheless. And on the right, it's one of the students that I was drawing during one of my demos in the light and shade workshop that I was doing in Geneva. And he was sitting in glorious, strong sunlight, and I thought it would make a nice, quick capture. On our last night, we played this drawing game and it went on for hours and hours and hours. And I can't do late nights. But anyway, I drew my colleague Maru's boyfriend, Reuben, on the left. And I suppose that was kind of something to do. And then on the right, it was a great night. I'm just useless at 2:00 in the morning stints. I just can't do it. On the right, this is the dinner, I kid you not, offered by the Aer Lingus flight from Geneva to Dublin after having delayed us for 2 hours. And then they said, sorry, we have no food on board, but we've been flying since 8:30 in the morning. I'm thinking, did you not know that you were going to be flying later on this evening and kind of make sure you had enough food? Anyway, I'm glad I'm talking over this particular sketch because this is horrendously bad. It's absolutely horrible. And this was my last morning in Geneva, and I was trying to do the jet d'eau, the big fountain of water that shoots out of the lake, and it was terrible. So I retreated to the shade of some trees and I did it again, and I was much happier with this one. I thought this one worked a lot better. And it was actually quite lovely sitting there in the shade. Part of the problem with the earlier one was that I was in full sun with absolutely no place to hide. And I don't like that, So I suppose the lesson there is make sure you're comfortable if you're going to be sitting somewhere for a good long time while you sketch. I do like the little pink cars zooming over the bridge. And I love most of all about Geneva, I love the wildlife that populates the lake. It's really cool. This is another little sketch from the airport on the way home. They look like they're out of sync, but that's just because I drew on top of an earlier one and I had a blank page where I put the crisps. Now, the thing about drawing people in an airport is they're so kind of anxious and in their own little bubble of anxiety that they don't notice you sketching at all. So that's a great advantage. It means that you can sketch away without worrying about being, made, so to speak. And I didn't have anything but the blue pen, so, it's all right. This is one that I do like. This was done on Bray Beach, which is close to where my parents' home is, on the east coast of Ireland. And my sister's husband, Bruce, was with me when I was sketching this. And he was very keen to see how this all unfolded because he's a lovely artist himself and he's just taken up sketching recently, or he'd really like to anyway. And so it was very nice, and it was kind of emotional because, my poor old father isn't well at all. And one of my other brothers had just arrived on the beach and he was upset, and the whole thing was very upsetting, and it was nice just to sketch and be calm during it all. So in this one we have Bruce on the left, the aforementioned Bruce, and my mum, Cindy, on the right. And she's in her nice blue chair with the bottom bit that goes up so she can put her feet up. And that black yoke in the middle is her little dog, Babette, curled up on her lap. What I like about this sketch, apart from how peaceful and nice it is, it's the nice colour palette. I like the colour palette. I think it's nice. And the shadow grey is used quite a lot in this. That's that kind of violet colour in the background. It's a very useful colour. It's one of my favourite Roman Schmal colours, and it makes for lovely shadows. Well, it is called shadow grey, of course. But sketching your family at home when you're relaxing is just a lovely thing to do in the evening. Here's another sort of unfinished and not very impressive sketch. I don't know what I was doing here, trying to fill in some colour swatches on the right hand side. And on the left, it was a trial for a sketch I was doing with my illustration club, which takes place every other Wednesday in my sketch club. And I was practicing an idea I had. And I know what I was doing. I was sounding out some ideas for a proposal for the Urban Sketching Symposium. And here is a sketch I did over breakfast one morning through the window of the little restaurant where I was staying during a course I was giving down in Dunmore East in County Waterford. And the beach down there on the Strand Inn, it's just next to the Strand Inn, it's very popular with swimmers, and they're all very, very hardy, and they swim no matter what the weather. They swim when the weather hasn't even got cold, and of course I can't do it then either. What I'm trying to say is it was September and lots of people were swimming, but I found it too cold to swim. So I had to content myself with just drawing everybody. And then over dinner, you see, when you go teaching, you're on your own, So over dinner that evening, I was sketching the other people in the bar, in the restaurant bar where I was eating. And it was nice. It was really enjoyable. I was attracted to the figurehead thing on the wall. And I really like drawing the family unit in the far corner on the right hand side as well. And they were pretty oblivious to the fact that I was sketching. And I don't know, people in Ireland tend to be very respectful of other people's spaces. I think I don't count in that because I'm always sketching everyone. But the people I was sketching, if they did notice, they didn't let on. So that was kind of nice as well. It's a nice way to pass the time when you're having a meal by yourself, and you've no one to talk to. You might as well just, draw what's around you. So the next morning I got up extra early and I went down to the beach. It was a nice morning. You can tell the colours are a bit different from the earlier one on the beach. And again, I did one of the early birds who went down for a swim. And it was lovely. I was trying to make a video, but it didn't really work while I was sitting on the beach. And I got very wet on my bum because I was sitting on a very wet piece of, concrete edge to the strand. But it was worth it. It was worth it. I had a really nice time sketching down there and getting all those nice reflections in. And the little bird in the foreground, and the dog watching his mistress, getting anxious about whether she'd come back or not. Another not very impressive, sorry, there's a bit of a pattern going on here. Not a very impressive sketch of the meals that I had down in the Strand Inn in Dunmore East. The food they do there is really nice. And there's nothing quite like settling down for a pint and a gorgeous meal that's laid on by the art school, which is called Art Form. It's just lovely when you've been working hard all day teaching people. There's nothing quite like sitting down with that gorgeous food. On the top left is my favourite one that the that the Strand Inn does. It's the Strand Inn fish pie. I love it. I just loved it. It's so tasty. And then we have a Thai red curry in the middle, and the rest is nice too. Prawn linguine, and of course the Guinness. Now this one was kind of funny. This was my last day. I was just about to get into my car and hit the road for Galway, which was going to be like a 5-hour drive. And I decided to have an early meal before I left. And this group of people were sitting down having their pints and so on. And I was really enjoying drawing them. They were very entertaining to draw. They were all quite fat and roundy shapes. So that was very, very nice to draw. I'm not unround myself, by the way, let it be said here. But I was nobody was drawing me. Anyway, I drew them, and then when I went back inside to have my dinner, they all came through a narrow doorway, and I had to go through the doorway as well. And did they stand back to let me, a middle-aged bedraggled woman who'd just been in the sea, pass? No, they did not. And they didn't say thank you or excuse me or anything. So I'm very happy that I drew all those fat people. Here we have a drawing that I very much enjoyed, because I was sitting with my mum, my sister Fiona, and her husband Bruce, and we all four of us had our sketch pockets out. We were sitting on Bray seafront, and it was quite a nice sunny day. And I think Fiona and Bruce were really taken with how tranquil it was just to sit there and sketch, and enjoy the passers-by, enjoy what they were saying, their comments. Some of them were quite funny. My sister was getting annoyed because a motorbike she was trying to draw got up and left, or I think it was going to leave. And another old fella sitting near says, do you want me to make him stay? He says, I could kill him. Will that work? It was very funny. And then on the left here, we have a guy who's just, really relaxing, taking it easy while his wife was walking the prom. And it was just so nice. He was sitting there bathed in sunshine. And when she came back, she was absolutely thrilled to see that we'd drawn her husband. And it was really nice. And then on the right, we have my lovely sister Fiona with her brand new sketch pocket that I'd given her. And I really like that drawing of her. I mean, it's not 1,000,000% like her, far from it. But I still really like how light of touch and capturing of the sun that it's managed to do. So, yeah, again, just really, really nice to sit there and, shoot the breeze with your family. Now, this one I quite like. A couple of days later, my family, Marcel, my husband, and our son Paddy, we went off to Malta for a week, and our youngest Livy was supposed to join us, and I bought her a seat on the plane and everything, but she wasn't able to join us at the last minute, and so there was an empty seat in front of us. And didn't this off-duty Italian Ryanair steward, didn't she sit in my daughter's place that I'd paid for? And she yabbered away in Italian, the whole way in a seat that I had paid for. But I was kind of happy because she was sitting beside a passenger who'd moved for some reason, and I was wondering, was it a budding romance that they were enjoying? So I don't know. I guess I'll never know. But who am I to get in the way of love? Even though it was early October when we got to Gozo, it was absolutely glorious weather, and I wasted no time to get my sketch stuff out and to draw the beautiful spiky blue-green agaves that were growing just beside the pool of the little guest house where we were staying. And it was just as well I did, because the thunderclouds were beginning to gather by the time I finished, and then the next 2 days were spent indoors admiring the thunder and lightning as it hit the pool. Now, this particular sketch is always going to have a special place in my heart, because my husband Marcel decided to take up sketching while we were away in Malta, and it was just gorgeous that he, not for this sketch now, but for later on in the week, he sat beside me and we did it again together. And it was lovely. Now, here we have our son, Paddy, and Marcel on the right. And we're all three of us sketching here, would you believe? And we're waiting at the ferry port in Gozo to go to Malta and catch the fast ferry to do a bit of sightseeing in Valletta. And I love this sketch because even though my mics had run out of juice, so I couldn't record it because the wind was absolutely crazy. And you know the way, if you try and make a video with your phone and you haven't got your mics in place, well, forget it. It's just going to be impossible to listen to. But the wind was so strong, and you can see how strong the sunshine was as well. You can see how it's hitting Paddy on the left and casting these beautiful strong shadows. And it's just, again, it's another sketch that I'll always remember with great fondness because it was another really, really tranquil moment. The three of us together. This one was done in Valletta just before we left, and it's the perimeter of Valletta. Valletta's gorgeous in Malta, if ever you've been there. It's really gorgeous. And there's all this beautiful honey-coloured limestone everywhere. And I drew the arches around the edge of the city. And then this couple came along and they were getting married. Well, I suppose they just got married, but they were having their photographs taken here, and there was loads of people around, and I did make a mental note to put in some of the people and make it a bit more populated. But I suppose on the other hand, right now it looks like only that couple exists, and all the world has faded away, and they may as well be on their own because they're in love. This one is another one that I quite like. So Marcel and I and Paddy took a walk one afternoon and we went to see the salt pans just on the outskirts of the village where we were staying, which is called Schlendi, and I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. But the salt pans are really cool, and you're kind of on a height at one point and you look down. And as I looked down, there was this lady, very, very suntanned lady, sitting cross-legged, all in her own. And she was knitting. She was getting on with her knitting. She was obviously just taking some nice chill time for herself. And I thought she'd make a nice little focal point because, you know, it's lovely to put a person into a sketch just so you get a sense of scale. And because without her, I don't think you'd realise the scale of what I was doing. What have we got here? Oh, another failed sketch. Gosh, this book is a litany of failed sketches. This was done one night when we went to Shagra, which is a village not too far from where we were. Actually, it's across the island of Gozo, you know, so it's not that near either. But we went up to Shagra and, or Zagra, I don't know how you pronounce it. And I shouldn't have started sketching. I shouldn't have, even though we had a nice drink in front of us. But I shouldn't have, because the light faded so quickly that soon I couldn't see anything at all. And my colours were all washed out. But I suppose it's a memory of Shagra. So from that point of view, it's kind of nice to have at the same time. Still, you know, I've done better in my life. Paddy did do a sketch of that same cathedral as I sketched this one. And his came out a lot better than mine. But anyway, there you go. The next day, we took a bicycle ride. We hired bicycles and we went across the island of Gozo, and it was great. It was really amazing. And we stopped for coffee at a little cafe. I think this was in, what's it called? I can't remember what the name of the little town was. Something like Francis something, I don't know. St. Francis Square, maybe it was Shagra. No, Victoria. Look, I don't know. It was in Gozo anyway. And there was an Italian guy running the cafe with his wife, and he was so hospitable. And we had absolutely gorgeous pastries, and I drew in the bells, as you can see. Now, he did have a complaint. He said he'd been in Malta for 10 years, and when he arrived there, he had been led to believe that it was 80% Arabic. And I find out it's not 80% Arabic, is 100% Arabic. He was talking about the language Maltese, and he was not best pleased because he hadn't learned Maltese really at all. And 100% Arabic, he said. So not a very happy camper, but really delicious pastries. Later on our cycle around the island, Paddy and I dismounted and we both sketched this cathedral church thing, and it was great. We really, really enjoyed sketching that. He was making a card for his aunt, which was kind of cool. Here we have a very, very rough and stormy sea in Gozo, in Schlendi. And this was the most beautiful, tranquil, transparent place to swim, and in fact do a bit of diving as well, deep sea diving. When we were there last year with the whole family, in July and August, but in early October, it was a completely different kettle of fish. It was rough and it was wild, but as you can see, the colours were still magnificent. And I sat beside Marcel, who was very content just to sit beside me as I sketched. And you can check out the making of this in one of my previous videos that I've got here on my channel. I loved getting the bands of colour, you know, down, and I did this for class with my group, and they loved doing it as well. On the left, we have a couple of bottles of the local beer, which I think is pronounced Chisk. Again, Paddy, me and Marcel just enjoying a beer in the sunshine, and you can see the shadow of the light passing through the bottle. I love when glass does that. It's a lovely thing to draw if you can get that flame resting on on the shadow. And then on the right we have a little tin of harissa paste, and I wanted to do that just with the 5 colours you can see at the bottom: phthalo green, ultramarine, burnt sienna, I think it's Nicolezo yellow, is it? And then we've got permanent carmine. You can substitute lots of those colours for other ones. But it's a really good exercise to try and make a full sketch just with 5 colours. Obviously, this subject was particularly suitable for it because it's mostly primary colours. But you can do a lot with just 5 colours. You'd be amazed. Now, from a lot of colour to absolutely none. This one is a little illustration I was doing for my illustration class. And I was reading and am reading and have read before Chocolate Wars by Deborah Cadbury. A really, really great read if you're interested in business, in, I suppose, cultural life of the 19th century, in England. Very, very interesting altogether. It's on audiobook, and as I say, I've listened to it already, but I'm listening to it again. And I like listening to audiobooks over and over again because, you know, it's a nice thing to fall asleep by when you know you're not going to miss anything because you've heard it loads of times. This one I really like, actually. This was from a trip to the Archaeology Museum in Malta, in Valletta. I used... Look at that beautiful colour of watercolour. That's called Aquarius Violet, I believe. And it's one of the newer colours, possibly, by Reuben Schmal. And I love it. It's absolutely divine. And it makes gorgeous shadows. And because it's so strongly granulating, it has lovely effects if you can resist the temptation to poke about it as it's trying to dry. So, you know, do yourself a little favour, get yourself a treat and get that colour, Aquarius Violet. It's one of the higher series of colours, so it's expensive enough, but I think it's well worth it. Now, finally, in this particular book, we have this drawing of some apples from one of my trees in my orchard. Now, I really like this tree. It's my favourite tree. I still even have a few of these apples left. And this cake that I made from these apples is so delicious. And I wrote the recipe down, and basically what you do is you peel your apples, slice them really thinly, core them, I guess, and put them in a dish, and you don't need to put any sugar with them. But if you put some black treacle on top and then make your batter in the usual way, butter beaten up with the beaters and then sugar added in, beaten up really, really light and fluffy, and then eggs beaten up really light and fluffy, and some flour and some baking powder. Whisk them all thoroughly until they are super light and put them on top of the apples with a bit of black treacle, and then bake it for, I don't know, maybe half an hour, a bit more, at about 180 degrees centigrade. It's just divine. Too delicious. I hope you make it. So that's it. That is my little collection of sketches for September to October 2025, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Well, look who I found running away. He's all wet because he's been messing around in the undergrowth for the last while, and that's just the way he likes it. He loves a bit of hedge. He does. He does. Okay, guys. I shall release the hound. Reuben is starting to wriggle, and maybe I'll manage to catch him at the end of the video for another little stint in front of the camera. I've decided not to let him go and to just finish this video while I have him, because if I let him go now, there's every likelihood that he'll run away and hide. I mean, when I saw him, oh my goodness, is it that boring, Reuben? When I saw him, I was like, okay, great, I'll grab him. And he literally span around and did a big hop in the opposite direction. He was like, oh, you're not catching me. But I did. I caught him. Oh, by the way, have you noticed that we match? I gave myself a haircut yesterday, and I looked at all the little bits of the bits I cut off, and they're literally the same colour as Reuben's hair. And the worst bit is that because my hair is losing its colour now so much, I'm looking even more like the white parts on him. So, oh well. How about people matching their dogs? I suppose I'm just exactly that I fit that description perfectly. I hope you enjoyed all my little pictures from September and October. There won't be much from the month of November because I'm working on another project that I'll be very excited to share with you, hopefully not too far away. So I hope you catch up with my next video soon. Can't wait to share the next stuff with you. I've just come back from a fabulous time in the south of France, so I'll be sharing the sketches from that little trip with you as well, and I hope you enjoy that one. So stay tuned, and I hope to catch you again. Happy sketching. The next bit is for serious fans of Reuben only. It contains a messy studio, a rotten apple, and some growling.
What have you found? What have you found? What is it? Oh, what is it? A little apple. A little apple. Where's your little apple? Huh? Is that a fun apple? It's a very rotten looking apple, isn't it? Oh dear, it's going to get out of control, isn't it? It's going to go wrong.